Austria, Germany putting up an almighty defence. Kayla taking his second win. Stephen King for Pulse eSports makes it 3 for 3 at Orange Park. Andy Fox wins. Henry Morse makes it the double and takes another win here at Watkins Glen. Blake comes around the final corner and across the line. Jameson Hudson has done it. Championship rival Morgan Burkhardt wins again. And there we have it. Two-time Jetta Cup champion Jake Cranston. Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the racing line for round 9 of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega, here on the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch live, and of course over with our friends at VCO eSports YouTube and Twitch live as well, coming to you from, well, I'm in Dubai, but we are at Okayama International Circuit. We're in Japan. The racers are all in Japan. They're racing in Japan. We were in Japan last week. Twin ring Motegi for round 8. And what a round it was. That circuit, the east layout of that circuit is just, it's such an underrated gem. The fighting was insane. I am your host, Jack Johns. Don't forget the GT Omega discount code TRL for 5% off, especially with Black Friday. Well, has Black Friday already been for Christmas deals? I don't know, but just try it anyway if you're looking for any sim racing stuff. I think they do other stuff as well. So go get your shopping. Powered by GT Omega, we are. VCO eSports are with us. It nearly turned into a song. Chat has been popping off, and I haven't even had a look, and it looks like it's all of our friends who have started becoming regular viewers, and it's good to see you. I've had a little bit of a power nap just before practice, and now that you guys are in chat, I'm well awake and I'm ready for this race. Biggie Morello hiding in Twitch there, definitely back watching. Christoph Plays back straight away with the capital Jettas. Vince on YouTube as well says yes, yes, yes. Good to see you again, Christoph. They have a little conversation amongst themselves. Look. Good evening, Mr. Johns. Evening to the drivers. Show us the little travel animation. Hey there, commentator. Good to see you again. Good to see all of you wherever you're watching. I can see a few of you on VCO eSports YouTube. I can see a few of you on VCO eSports Twitch. Couple on TRL Racing Line Twitch, and then a few of you on the Racing Line YouTube as well. So good to see you, and welcome to Okayama round 9, the second to last round, the penultimate round. And we've been here before back in season 1. We came back in season 2, but it was the short layout. So this is a return to the full layout. Only the originals would have raced this track before in these cars in this series. And nice little scenic cam. You can see the times on your left there with all of those beautiful flags. Those times are looking pretty close. Let me have a quick look at what that gap looks like. That's what it looks like across the board. So down to 24th place, pretty much 25th place within a second. The actual intervals between each driver look like that. So if Thurtle found a 10th, he'd be fastest. If King found 6 thousandths, he would move up. 2 tenths for Downing to move up, 2 thousandths for Wallace, 18 thousandths for Huffman, 29 thousandths, 2 thousandths, 43 thousandths. Everyone separated pretty much there in that middle pack by way less than a tenth of a second. A load of, look at the difference a couple of thousandths makes. That is insane. Vince says, Okayama is such a pain to drive. It's up and down, I think. I mean, everyone knows the circuit. So it's one of those where you put the practice in, I guess, but you get bored of practicing it really quickly because you've been racing it since rookies on this simulator. Someone mentioned the animation. This is the journey we took. We're on the east side of Japan. Took a little truck journey over to the west side of Japan. Here it is, cross through Kyoto. And then Okayama is there. So the track a little bit away from Okayama. Just 355 miles this time before we take a flyaway. The next race, the final race, is a flyaway to Oran Park. There at the bottom of that table on your right-hand side. Look at that. What a season we've had. Round 1, Burkhardt and Bailiff at Donington. Thurtle and Bailiff at Brands Hatch for round 2. Burkhardt and Germany with his maiden win for Zandvoort in round 3. Break week, and then the quadruple header at America with a double win for Cranston, followed by a double win for Burkhard, with Cranston and Toyka winning in his debut season, and then Burkhard and Cranston taking the Long Beach crown for our first street race. Another break week. Twin Ring Motegi. Henry Morse finally claimed a win this season. He's a proven race winner. He's been very successful in previous seasons, and now he's back again. Well, he was back again at Twin Ring, although at the moment he's 25th fastest in practice, so maybe he's got his win. And now he's just going to settle back in, although street casuals have been on the rise. We'll get to that in a second. Oran Park next week, Monday, the final round of the season. And we know who's been strong there previously. Someone else who's won before. He's actually been runner-up the last 2 seasons is Stephen King, with no wins so far this season. Which is an insane stat, realistically. Like, it's madness. Let's have a look at the... I need to send over the standings and try and get that read within the next 4.5 minutes. So I'm not sure if I can get that done, but I'll give it a go. I won't go through it in the usual detail, but there has been plenty going on. So P12 is Meatball Motorsport, 451 points. Lurch's Gaming team there, only 3 points behind Team 12, so they will be moving up, considering Team 12 has only had 1 driver, I think, for the most part of this season. Frog Leap Juiced Racing, that's Dan Blake, by the way. Dan Blake has been carrying Team 12, I think, after Ade Kova's leave. Frog Leap Juice Racing have actually been passed by Zero Forks Given Racing last time out. P8 and 9, that's still close, so those two are fighting for those positions, as are ORD and Goldwing. ORD jumping Goldwing Motorsport there in 6th and 7th place. You've then got Win It or Bin It and Masters of Talk pretty close together, with Jake Cranston missing a couple of rounds for Masters of Talk, as we see a little crash in the background there. 4th and 5th looking fairly close, and 3rd actually. Project Dynamic within that range as well, so a little freeway fight for P3 in the standings. And then I said we'd mention Street Casuals. They gained over 100 points on Pulsus eSports last time out, something we didn't think we'd see, but with Timu Toyka missing 1 round, they've now closed down within less than 100 points. You can see them there in 2nd place. Pulsus eSports still holding strong though at the top 4 now. Let's have a look at the rest of the standings. Rod Askew, Ray Oliver, Sebastian Hall, Michael stay where they are. Jan Weisfanger in 33rd, Alejandro Caraday, Duncan Ray and David Corpus, your bottom 6. You then got Brandon Hughes, Dan Thornton, pretty close together. Ika Lequay, Jesus and Mundere, Andy Fox in 25th, Dan Blake, Arthur Thurtle, Agard, Henriksen, Van der Velde and Kova there, still there in P19. We'll lose a few more places with 2 more rounds to go. Stephen Burns, Greg Otley jumps up a few there in P17. Sam Van Olst in the top half as well with 379. Jameson Huffman, Martin Wallace, Patrick Dupart, Timu Toyka and Andre there in 11th, 12th and 13th. Patrick and Andre losing a few places, both of them getting involved in another awkward crash actually at Twin Ring in the same place. I think, well, they've had this really strong season, those two, and it's been up and down in terms of some of the incidents. And you can say that for a few people, but if you just took away those crashes, whether it's their fault or not, it would have been even tighter. I think they would have been in that top 10. Kyle Ridley had a really strong showing at Twin Ring once again, just like in the RLTC. He's now in the top 10, just 4 points ahead of Andre, so keep an eye on that fight. Andre and Kyle, they'll be ones to watch today. Where are they in practice? Andre is P12, Kyle is P9. Eric Madenfeld, also a strong season. He's now in the top 10. He's in P9. He's had a few crashes that's cost him a lot of points this season. Long Beach is probably most famous one, where he just touched the wall on the inside of the final hairpin and rolled his car whilst he was in the top, I want to say top 3, but definitely top 6. Dan Downing still in P8. Henry Morse is climbing in P7, chasing down Josh Germany and Austin Farr. Josh is in P6, nearly won last time out, didn't. Only 5 points behind Austin, who's holding strong in P5. He's been there a while. You then got 2nd, 3rd and 4th pretty close together, reasonably close. John Bailiff, Stephen King and Morgan Burkhardt, but Morgan has been pulling away with his strong form of late. He's only 4 points behind Jake Cranston, who's not here once again. So you can assume that one of those 3, Morgan, Stephen and John, will be taking the lead after this round before Jake returns to us for the final round of Oran Park. What did I miss? On another note, Vince been setting personal records on Need for Speed. Classic Gamer, Need for Speed Carbon, Push Giga Chad Team, somebody casually going into the wall in the background. Yeah, that's well, casually is the key word. It might have been Street Casuals. Practice is coming to an end, and it looks like, yeah, the top 25 we could probably call all being within a second. Arthur Thurtle there getting some practice in. He is currently 2nd place. Are we going to see the return to form for Mr. Arthur Thurtle? He's got a win this season. He has done. I think it was at Brands with a great move on Jake Cranston into the hairpin. I wish I could throw back, like a TV company, throw back some like replays of the earlier overtakes. I could if I like pre-made it. Maybe I could do that next time out for the final. Give it a little bit of spice. Anyway, speaking of winners and stuff, whilst we're just waiting for that timer to tick over and qualifying to begin, we're on round 9. We've had 8 rounds and 7 different drivers have taken a win this season. Henry Morse, Teemu Toika, Joshua Germany, Arthur Thurtle, John Bailiff has 2, Jake Cranston has 4, and Morgan Burkhardt has 6. Those are your 7 drivers. 6 different drivers have taken pole position. Only 2 have repeated that feat. That is none other than Arthur Thurtle, who we just mentioned a second ago, and Morgan Burkhardt. So the 2 Project Dynamic cars, that's 4 poles apiece. The only Project Dynamic car not getting a pole position so far, Alexander van der Velde, but Daniel Downing joining the pole position club last time out at Twin Ring Motegi with his first pole position. One reminiscent of Martin Wallace's first pole position in Summit Point 2 seasons ago. Podium drivers. We've had 17 of the 36 drivers sit on the podium this season in the 8 rounds that we've seen so far. That is Ridley, Manintveld, Downing, Burns, Majorek, Kober, Morse has 2, Depart, Farr, Toika and Thurtle all have 2, Germany and Huffman have 3, King has 4, Bailiff has 5, Burkhardt has 8, Cranston has 9 podiums to his name. Fastest laps, we've seen 7 drivers set fastest laps. Van der Velde, we mentioned him a second ago, does have one of those, as does Burkhardt, as does Thurtle. So all 3 Project Dynamic cars having a fastest lap. And look at these shenanigans. People weaving down the straight. No one wants to lead. We haven't seen this since Monza in Formula 1. I hope they sort this out by the time they get round to start their timed laps. Driver of the days, we've seen a different one every time. Highest point scorer. No one is going to beat Cranston's highest point score. The max amount of points you can score is 123. And Jake Cranston scored 122 when he at Lime Rock with his double win, pole, and one of the 2 fastest laps. But Henry Morse, who finished I think in around 25th, took the other fastest lap point, stopping him from getting an absolute grand slam, which I don't think we've ever seen. Speed Rat Racing on Twitch says, let's go ZFG. He is rooting for ZFG. Let's have a quick look at Brandon Hughes, who is actually next to Greg Otley and Martin Wallace. They're all out together. There you go. So that's what you want to see, isn't it? A bit of ZFG comic book madness. It says 700 horsepower Jetta on his rear. In fact, let's have a look at behind him. So he's being followed by Martin Wallace. Staying together. Shall we? Let's go on board with Brandon. Let's see. Let's put some pressure on Mr. Hughes for his quali lap. We don't often get to see some of these drivers. Qualifying is always chaotic, Vince. 30 cars out there on track today, I believe. Or 31, actually. I've just seen Sebastian Holmichael is here as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of cars out there. And they've all got to find the space themselves, pick wisely who they want to follow. Now, tricky corners here. It's really fast and flowing and people make many mistakes. This corner around the 75 meter mark is where you want to brake down through the gears, hold it tight all the way through, but you also want to get on that throttle nice and early, and you've got to sort of make this compromise between either keeping your steering lock on and scrubbing off your speed, or opening the steering really early and going right out wide. A nice corner there, and then you've got this long slipstream straight down to one of the tightest hairpins. 100 meter board braking zone, maybe just after, depending on how fresh your tyres are. Down to 3rd gear. Get it chucked in. Accelerate straight away up the hill. Get over to the right hand side you need to be. Up into 4th, dab the brakes. Get the car turned in, accelerate out, don't run too wide. Dab the brakes again in 4th gear, get it turned in. Now I was struggling here in practice. because I kept running wide out towards that wall on the right-hand side. Got it done just past the 50-meter board here, down through the brakes. Felt like he broke early there. Oh, he's letting someone through. That's Martin Wallace going through. Someone else is going through on his left there. That is Henry Morse with the Calypso sponsorship on top of that Street Casuals car. So you'd assume this lap for Brand. Oh, a bit of a mistake there. You see how he understeered. He put that throttle on and the car just understeered towards the left. Through this second to last right-hander. This is turn 10 into the final corner. Easy to lose the rear end through here, which we've seen Brandon do a few times this season, but he didn't do it then. He's in the slipstream for the main straight. I imagine he'll be setting another lap. Well, he's going to set another lap, a better lap after this. But what's his time going to be? Where's it going to put him? Did he one exit? There he is at the bottom. Well, he let 2 cars through, so you would assume that that is where he's going to be. Morgan Burkhardt to the top of the times with King right behind him. Where is Morgan? He's getting pulled around by the number 70 car of Arthur Thurtle. That will be. The number 38 is just behind. There's Jameson Huffman as well joining this little crew. A good friend of Morgan Burkhardt. They're on different teams, but that doesn't stop them from potentially working together. Just a 10th and a half between King and Burkhardt, but it's not over. Where is Mr. King? He's behind this little train. I say little train, they're all in a line. Oh, there's so many of them. Oh, what cameras have we got here? Oh, look at that, there you go. Have a blimp static view of the middle of the circuit, where you can pretty much see all of them in one shot. So no one opting for the space out there on track. Oh, tell a lie. There's one car out there opting for the space on track, and that is Stephen Burns. He's out there by himself, cruising around. He's got 3 minutes left to qualifying for Win It or Bin It. He's got no one around him. Everyone else is in the same area. Look how big this circuit is, and they're all together. Iku says, I support Fat Timu. He's jumped in YouTube chat. That's different. I normally see Kakula on Twitch, but there he is. What are the times going to do this time on this next lap? I think they're all going to get one more lap in after this, so we'll see a little bit of a reshuffle. Timu Toika jumps up to P8. Downing jumps up to P2, just 800ths off. He's been very quick. Donnie Henriksen is up in P6. That is a strong qualifying for the Masters of Talk driver. Hughes is up into P9. Huffman up to P7. Van der Velde P10. They've all got another lap, I reckon, before that timer ticks over, and then that will be their last lap. Caraday is also out on track, who I didn't see earlier. That means we've got 32 cars out there. The only drivers you will not see in qualifying are Jan Weiswanger and Dan Thornton, who have accrued enough penalty points to get a quali ban. So they will both be starting at the back, much to their displeasure over the course of the season. But there's only one round to go after this. Arthur Thurtle has had an absolute mare. Is he purely... He is fully... Oh, here he goes. He's on his lap now because he's being towed around by Morgan Burkhardt. Stephen King... I'm confused. Did he just set that time and I didn't see it? Because he's now back up in P2 and Dan Downing was up there 800ths off. So I'm guessing Burkhardt went fastest again. King now second fastest, and I think he is done. He's happy with that. But Arthur Thurtle, is he just purely here to help Morgan now? Kieran Dickerson says, love the series, first time watching live. Oh, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Twitch was giving me problems, so switch to pleb platform, says Iku. Good evening, Kieran. It's better watching it live. Trust me. Yeah, well, I try and give you all the information I can whilst we're live. I was trying to see if we had a drone cam here around Okayama, but I can't see. I don't think I've got one, to be honest, which is annoying. Got a few scenic cameras. But there we go, 15 seconds left. Is Arthur Thurtle going to jump up from 28th place? Because he's about to cross the line. He's got Hughes in front. He's been towed round by Burkhardt this time. 28th place, Arthur Thurtle, number 70. What can he do? He goes straight up into P4. He only needed one lap. And that is a hell of a jump for Arthur Thurtle there. Let's go through the grid. Oh, Murray got a time in. Did you see that? He jumped up as well to 25th right at the end there. Well done, that man, for Goldwing. Let's have a look at the grid then. Morgan Burkhardt takes pole position yet again. That'll be his third, I believe. Stephen King there on the front row. It could get feisty between those two. Remember, they're fighting for, at the moment, they're fighting for the lead of the championship. Dan Downing and Arthur Thurtle in P3 and 4. Downing without a win. Thurtle with 1 win, looking to get back that pace and help Morgan any way he can. Kyle, Farr, Henriksen, Huffman, Depart, Hughes, Van der Velde, and Henry Morse makes it up into the top 12 in the end. He'll be happy with that, especially if it puts him in a good stead for the feature. Look at the 4 American flags there on the right-hand side. How neat and tidy, appeasing my OCD. Joshua Germany, Manitveld, Wallace, Amundere up there in P16. That's a good qualifying from him. Timu Toika, Dan Blake, Sam Van Alsten, Jerry Agard in P20. Bailiff has had an absolute nightmare in 21st place. Mayerek, Fox, Ikalakwe in 24th. Duncan Murray, David Corpus, Sebastian Holmichael, Greg Otley, Stephen Burns, Caraday, Dan Thornton, and Jan Weiswanger rounding off your field in 32nd place. If those guys can keep clean at the back there, it'll be very interesting to see where they can get to and how much they can gain. Let's see. Best starting camera. I mean, that first one that we had was actually pretty good. Yeah, that shows pretty much everyone, doesn't it? Let's go for the interval. We'll keep the track map up there on the top right. Oh, you saw a Reddit post of how close qualifying was. Hope you enjoy it. That is a great thing. I don't know who posted it on Reddit. I'm a bit lax on that platform, to be honest. But I know a couple of the guys on the grid out there right now. Jerry Agard, Donnie Henriksen. There's a few of the guys out there that do use Reddit. So if that is going round, then it's only a benefit to the season. Well, here we go then. The lights are on. Burkhard and King are on your front row. Who is going to get the better start of the two? 18 minutes. We don't want minutes. We want laps. There we go. Lap 1 of 7. It's a 7-lap sprint race, and it looks like Burkhard's got the best start as King slots in behind. Dan Downing round the outside of Arthur Thurtle, already side by side as they head towards the well, not the final corner. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just lost for words because they're all coming through here at the same time. Dan Blake looks like he's had a hell of a start. He's just racing through the pack. Has any of the bottom guys made any advantages? Huffman and Henriksen are side by side. They're swapping over positions down into turn 4 and now up the hill. I said you need to get the best exit you can here. This is Donnie Henriksen's car. Jameson Huffman for Frog Leap Juice racing on his right hand side is going to shut that door. It's a little bit late. There's going to be contact. Is Donnie going to keep his nose there on the left-hand side? This is a dangerous place to be for Donnie Alpha Henriksen. If Jameson moves over, is he going to send it down the inside, or is he going to take the cautious route down towards turn 5? Maybe a little bump, not quite. Has a look around the outside of Jameson. Doesn't quite get it done. Andy Fox was also having a look at Jerry Agard. We've got some side-by-sides. That's John Bailiff in front. Eric Malintveld there on the outside of John Bailiff. Dan Blake is really making moves. I think he's up 2 places. Oh, no, he's still in the same place. Sam Van Olst is up 2 places. Dan Downing and Arthur Thurtle are still going at it as they head towards the hairpin. Side by side into turn 8. Arthur Thurtle's on the outside. He's going to have the inside of turn 9. We've seen this at Twin Ring Motegi over and over again. But Arthur Thurtle gets the better exit. Dan Downing is still very much there as they head down towards turn 10. Can he hold it around the outside of the flat-out right-hander towards the final corner? We've seen spins here before. He backs out of it. Dan Downing slots into P4. Bailiff is up 3 positions, but he's got Dan Blake down his inside of the final corner. Very safe through there. And look at Eric Maninveld. He's going to make it 3 wide down the straight as we go on to lap 2. That's Kyle Ridley up the road on the inside, making it 3 wide down towards turn 1. Backs out of it. Dan Downing's on the inside of Arthur Thurtle. The battle continues between these two for P3. Maninveld and Blake side by side through turn 1. There is fights all over the place. Lequay and Murray, the two, well, the South African and the Portuguese driver. Bit of contact there. Lequay slides it, holds the slide. Bit of a wiggle on. Greg Otley there have taken great avoiding action. Caraday's coming through. Thornton's coming through. Jan Weiswanger will be coming through. Jesus Amundere and Joshua Germany are having a fight up ahead. But at the moment, I want to see how this sorts itself out. But we haven't seen these two fight for a very long time. Look, there they go up towards the brow of the hill, down towards the hairpin again. Look at them all come down the hill, down towards turn 5. And it looks like Joshua Germany's getting that position. And there is Jesus Amundere round. One of the Goldwing cars is caught in that as well. That's Sam Van Olst. Eric Maninveld nearly hit as well. Sam Van Olst going down the order, and I think everyone else is safe. We've seen it here before, and we've seen it here again. It's been warned about in the briefing, but Jesus Amundere very much out of this sprint race, and I think Sam Van Olst will be probably damaged as well, as we see Mayerek and Maninveld side by side through that corner. Alexander Van der Velde is making moves as well on Jameson Huffman into turn 8. Huffman will have the inside to turn 9. Dupart is fighting Henry Morse there. Bit of contact Murray and Mayarek are fighting behind, and there's another Street Casuals car. That's Maninfeld. Street Casuals just everywhere you look. Otley and Holmichael are having a fight behind. Otley's on the outside of turn 10, and I think that's Maninfeld coming into the pits. That'll be a meatball flag for the Street Casuals car. His season goes from okay to not okay. Sebastian Holmichael looks like he cuts the inside of that corner. I wonder if he gets a slowdown. Doesn't look like he can move over now because he's got Stephen Burns putting the pressure on him. Look at the 2-second gap between Arthur Thurtle and Stephen King and Morgan Burkhardt at the top end. Dan Downing going to be putting the pressure back on him as Stephen Burns and Caraday go side by side in towards turn 1. Let's have a look if we can see the replay of Jesus and Munderay's crash. I'm not sure on the best view for this, to be honest. Oh, there it is. It's going to be... That's going to be a Jesus problem, I think. That's unfortunate. I mean, Timu could have lifted, but at the same time, that was optimistic to slot in between those two cars. And there goes Sam Van Alst, just caught up in it. And did anyone actually collect Sam Van Alst as they came down? Nearly got... This is where Eric Maninfeld got his meatball, I reckon. Just there on the rear quarter panel. That's how soft these cars are. I reckon that was what got Eric, you know. It wasn't contact later. Look at... Who's this? That's Corpus coming through. Caraday, Thornton, LeQuay, Weisfanger. Everyone survives afterwards. Yeah, Sam Van Alst did a little bit of practice. And that's what happened. He got caught up in an accident that wasn't his fault. But Amundaray... I think on first look of that, obviously we'll look at it more in the steward's room probably tomorrow. But I think that was optimistic of users to try and slot in between those two cars on the straight. Just cut across the nose of the left car. Shame to have an accident early on. Yeah, Kieran, it happens. I mean, look how many of them there are. Dan Thornton serving a slowdown there. I wonder where he got that. I didn't really find many slowdowns here in the practice as we go on to lap 4 of 7. But they're definitely out there. The only one that I was really worried about was turn 6, but that wouldn't have been where Dan got that because he's serving it on the main straight. So he must have got it on like turn 10 or 11, which is one of the final two right-handers. Holmichael and Caraday are having an okay race with Stephen Burns in the middle. He's in a meatball sandwich. Timu Toika and Hughes are racing out through turn 4. Brandon Hughes has had a hell of a race so far. I mean, he's lost a few positions, 5 from the start, but he qualified well. And he's still holding on. This is what you got to do. Qualify well and just hold on for as much as you can. John Bailiff is looking feisty. He's behind Timu Toika. Andy Fox is with him. Dan Blake is with him. Jerry Agard is with him. They're side by side. Timu Toika down the inside of Brandon Hughes. Bailiff is going to try and follow him through. Toika's got the move done. Bailiff is now on the outside of Hughes in towards turn 6. This is where I said you could get a slowdown. Brandon Hughes, Bailiff still side by side as they head down towards turn 7. Can Bailiff hold it around the outside? He looks like he's got the stronger exit, and now Andy Fox is going to come through. How many times have we seen this season where one person gets shuffled off of the racing line and they lose position after position after position? Andy Fox round the outside of turn 8. He's going to have the inside for turn 9, and Hughes is going to potentially lose another position if Andy can get the run out of turn 9. But it looks like Hughes has got the exit. He slots in behind John Bailiff and in front of Andy Fox, and Dan Blake is looking ready to try and take advantage down the main straight. King just losing touch. He's got the fastest lap of the race, but it looks like he's losing touch a little bit of Morgan Burkhardt. 4 attempts is a big gap, although maybe he's just casually biding his time there for a potential first win of the season. He's got Arthur Thurtle doing it. Well, he's done his job by the looks of it. He's in P3. He's just going to hold on to that podium. Dan Downing doesn't look like he's challenging anytime soon. He's going to come under pressure from Ridley and Austin Farr, who's there in the top 6. Donny Henriksen is on for a strong result here in P7, as long as him and Huffman can keep it clean to the end of the race. Huffman went to look down the inside, backed out of it, slots in behind. Van der Velde under pressure from Henry Morse and Patrick Dupart for ORD there. Team ORD in the blue car. It's just Joshua Germany behind Patrick Dupart. And you got Martin Wallace there just about trying to get into that top 12 to start the second race in pole position. I'm glad Blake made it though. He seems to get caught in everything. Isn't Blake behind his last year's teammates? Where is Dan Blake? Yes, he was with Win It or Bin It. He is behind last year's teammates as Huffman and Henriksen are still fighting it out. Oh, it's getting close between these two. Henriksen on the inside of turn 7. Huffman's going to try and hold around the outside. I think he's going to get it done. We've seen that move done quite a lot. Alexander van der Velde and Henry Morse. There's contact. Henry Morse is off the circuit, but I think he's going to have survived that. Ridley and Downing are fighting up the road as well. Henry Morse is in a dangerous place now as everyone else has a bit more speed. I'd like to have a look at that again if we can. Into turn 7. Oh, it was that stupid rear thing again, where the rear wheels touch and it just sends one car more violently than it should. That's just a racing incident, really, but it looks like he's survived. And even if he does have a meatball, he can make it to the end without being DQ'd, because you get 3 laps to serve it, and there's less than 3 laps left of the race. Where is he? He's in P12, so we'll be starting the feature race on pole position if he can keep it there, as Teemu Tuikka looks to make a move on Martin Wallace down the inside of turn 1. Martin Wallace tries to defend. He'll be on the inside for turn 2. He's going to get close through there. Is he going to squeeze him out? No, the battle continues, and Martin Wallace wouldn't squeeze anyone out. He's a nice, safe driver as they head down towards turn 4. You watch me jinx that now and watch them crash into this corner. They're not going to crash. Teemu Tuikka, though, might get this move done. If Wallace can hold it round the outside of turn 4, they've got to go really wide on the exit and try and get the slipstream up the hill. Is Teemu Tuikka going to do what Jesus did to him and cut across the nose? Doesn't look like it. Wallace has got plenty of room. I'll tell you what looks close. These two, lap 6 of 7, and King is starting to make moves. This is your lead fight, people. Stephen King has closed right down to less than a 10th on that straight then, so now he's starting to put the pressure on. Ridley and Downing swapping over, Huffman and Farr swapping over. I think I saw Otley swapping over as well. Farr and Huffman still going at it, but Stephen King, now he'll be looking to set a move up. Lap 6 of 7, they're about to get to the fastest lap. This is what it looks like on board. Does he look calm and collected? Can't really see anything in here. That's what it looks like. He's got his tinted visor on, so you cannot see his face, and there's no one behind him. So let's go back to the front view. Can he get a look at Morgan Burkhardt? He's 3 tenths behind. He tries to get the best exit he can out the final corner, and away they go. Look how close he looks towards him. He's 2 tenths. It's going down. Lap 7. We're on the final lap now here at Okayama for the sprint race. We've got a feature race to go, so don't go anywhere after this. The feature race is twice as long, and there's a pit stop for fuel only. They do not need tyres, and the top 12 are reversed. So currently, Morse and Depart are on your front row for the start of the feature. Germany and Van der Velde are fighting it out, and Stephen King looks close as ever. Is he going to make a move down towards turn 4? Is he going to wait and set it up for turn 5? He does have a look down the inside of turn 4. He tries to spook Morgan Burkhardt out of the way, but can he still get the run on the way back down the back straight? Up and over the hill they're going to go. Morgan Burkhardt defends nice and early. He's going to open up the corner again. He's going to need to be careful for weaving. I think, well, how many moves is that if he moves to the inside again, because he's already moved to the outside? Is King going to have a look down the inside? He does. He sends it down there, and Morgan just turns in. He cannot get... He wasn't as late on the brakes, was Stephen, but he's so close. He'll be frustrated with this when it was so close so far. He needed to really commit to that move. But Morgan, really, Morgan's got more to lose here than Stephen, so I'm surprised that this fight is going on so hard. Is Stephen going to have a look down the inside of the hairpin? No. Morgan cuts across. Can't get it done there. Huffman and Ridley are 4th and 5th for Frog Leap Juice Racing, so ZFG are in trouble in terms of championship points for the team. And it looks like this might be a done deal, unless it can be done before the line as they exit the final corner. Here comes your lead 2. Out down towards the final corner, turn 11 now. Stephen King is going to be in P2 by the looks of it. I don't think the straight is long enough, and Morgan Burkhardt is going to take the win of your sprint race once again, and Stephen King comes home in P2. Andre Majorek has had an issue here. What has happened to Andre? Greg Otley, Duncan Murray and Jerry Agard towards the hairpin. I do not know. Oh, he just turned. Oh, I don't know who missed their corner there. Was that Duncan or Andre? Let's have a look. This will be a better view. It'll be Duncan missing the apex of that hairpin. Right there. And Andre being caught off guard, but it was the end of the race, so he will survive for another day. What a race. I did not get to catch up on much chat because that was a lot of stuff happening. Watching this while doing homework makes it a lot better. Having second part of dinner, Jetta's makes anything better. Risk racing is arguably better than some real life racing. It is. It genuinely is. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sat here commentating on it. Some of the racing that we see is absolutely insane. Same for the Touring Car Championship that we did. Better than most. Just so close and action-packed. Better than F1. Always entertaining. Definitely F1 has so little actual racing. Jettas are just better. Jettas to replace F1. F1 seems like press overtake button to win or slide and die. F1 is boring. This is more get your elbows out and get past. You can't really get your elbows out, you know, Kieran, because the cars are pretty... Oh, look! Wait, I have to stop. You see those birds on the middle of the screen? We haven't seen them in a while, and I used to get picked on for accidentally cutting away from the racing action to see them. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, elbows out. Meatballs are pretty easy to come by in this car. They need to update the damage model. Midfield is the only place where there are battles. Close fight for the end. Burkhardt is defending good. Agreed. GG. Well done from Burkhardt. What a quick sprint. It did fly by. Only one problem with this championship. It's over way too quick. Don't worry, Mr. Johns. We're just chatting on the race. More racing to come, Kieran. And, whoa, the viewers have gone up since we've started. Welcome everyone if you're just joining us. We're in our little break now, by the way. It's only a short one. There's the timer. Just to relax and digest what has just happened before we head to our feature race. Remember, the feature race is twice as long, so it'll be about 14 laps. There's a pit stop. They can't stop before lap 5. They don't need to change tyres. If they do, it's their own fault. They'll lose a lot of time. They do need to fuel. The quickest way to fuel is to untick the fuel box at the right time, which means mistakes get made. Some people miss their pit boxes. Some people under fuel. Some people pit straight away on lap 5, come out in clean air, get the undercut. Some people go a long way and pit and still come out in front. It's really strange how it happens. But anyway, it's twice as long, but it's just as much action. Gets a little bit spread out during the pit stop phase, and it's interesting to see who can get the best pit stop times. Can't wait for the next race. All for the feature race. Break for a drink, people. That's right, it is drink break time. Whilst I take a sip of water, let's have a look at your final results for that sprint race. Before I take a drink, I forgot Arthur Thurtle was even up there in P3. So it's a good thing we did look at the results, because I was too busy watching. I saw the two brown stripes of the Frog Leap Juice racing cars in 4th and 5th there, with a solid result there from both of them, and completely forgot Arthur was in the race. So, Frederick Lejeune says, hello from Sweden. We don't have a Swedish driver this season. Frederick, what are you doing? Sign up. Learn this car. Get in here. We need more flags. We love the flag differences on this. Although you never realise how many flags have the blue, red, and white colours until you see them all together like this. We did have a Swedish driver. I think it was in the RLTC. Sebastian Broberg is coming to mind. I think he was Swedish. Good question, Frederick. You may get a Bulgarian driver the way I love this Jetta Cup. By all means, we do actually. I normally open up the championship race. By the way, guys, it'll be a good point to point this out. So we've got this is round 9. We've got round 10 next week at Oran Park. The following week, would be like is normally like a celebration race where I don't stream it. I'll either get someone else to commentate for me so that I can race, but we also open it up to other people that potentially want to join for next season. So if you're watching and you've been asking how to join this and you want to see how quick these guys really are by comparing yourself on the same circuit in the same car, which is fixed setup because you can't change the setup in these cars, then by all means you can join that championship race. I haven't picked the circuit yet, but I will open it up to have potentially 60 drivers if there's enough. I mean, we'll be doing it anyway, so you might as well just jump in and see how it goes. It's not serious. There's no points on offer. The championship's done. It's more to announce who's champion and have a bit of fun and to give me a chance to race the guys, because obviously I can't commentate and race at the same time, even though I give it a good go on those days. I normally and to give other people a chance, I normally broadcast maybe the sprint race and then I'll do the feature race from the back, but we'll see what people say in chat. Anyway, your sprint race results: Morgan Burkhardt and Stephen King, less than 2 tenths between them on the line, first and second. Arthur Thurtle for Project Dynamic takes P3. Frogleap Juice Racing, Huffman and Ridley in 4th and 5th, Downing in P6, Farr P7, Henriksen, Germany, Depart, Van der Velde and Henry Morse there in your top 12. They will be reversed. Teemu Toika just misses out on reverse pole position. John Bailiff, Wallace and Hughes in 15th and 16th. We'll be very happy with that for Zero Forks Given Racing. We saw some Zero Forks fans in the chat earlier, so good on them. P15 and 16. Andy Fox in P17, he had a good race. P18 for Dan Blake. Agard P19. Duncan Murray made it up to P20 in the end. Greg Otley in 21st. Andre Mayerek has not shown his recent form there in P22. He'll be disappointed with that. Stephen Burns there in P23. Caraday, Holmichael 24th, 25th. LeQuay and Corpus. Thornton up to 28th in the end from 32nd. I think he started. Weisfanger was also down there. He's in 29th. They all passed Vernolst, Manintveld and Jesus and Mundere, who had their own issues. Jesus in the wall early on. Sam Vernolst collected in that, and Eric with the meatball. So all three of those in that early lap crash. Although it wasn't a big one. It wasn't a big crash. So there you go. How long we got left? We've got 2 minutes. Whilst that 2 minutes is on, I've just remembered, I don't think I reset the poll for driver of the day, which we are going to need in the feature race. So I will do that now. I won't send the link just yet, but I'll reset it. I'm not sure who to pick so far, you know. I'm just thinking about the sprint race, and I'm not sure. I mean, the racing was great, but no one has stood out to me as a driver of the day yet. I mean, the front two were going at it. I'm not sure how Huffman got there. Huffman might have been a good candidate, but we didn't really see him race up there. Donnie Henriksen has had a strong race in P8. We'll have to keep an eye out during this feature, because I am not... normally, it's a clear... Sam Vanel says, I'm dead. Yep, you died. We saw it. It wasn't your fault, though. Don't worry about it. These Jettas are free. The Jettas are free, so you'd only need a few tracks and a subscription. It's a shame, because it's so good. Yeah, so the tracks are normally... I mean, we try and add a few free tracks into the season. The drivers that have been with us now for 3 seasons are pushing towards paid tracks, as they just tend to be better. Not sure what the next calendar will look like or when the next calendar is going to start. We normally around this point go, oh, it's unannounced, it's not going to happen. But let's be honest, it will probably happen. When is the next season starting? It really looks interesting. Honestly, join us on not next week, the week after, for the celebration race. Obviously join us next week to watch Oran Park, but give it a go with the guys. But be warned, they are, once the season's over, they're in a jokey mood, so the racing will be harder, shall we say, than we see in this race, because obviously this race is worth points and get penalties. Anyway, it is time. It is time. It is feature race time. We can hide those results. It's going to tick over any second now. And let's get that grid. Henry Morse, Van der Velde, front row. Depart continues his form. He's in P3 right now. Josh Germany, P4. Henriksen, Farr, Downing, Ridley, Huffman, Thurtle, King, and Burkhardt, your top 12. Toika, Bailiff, Wallace, Hughes, Fox, Blake, Agard, and Murray, your top 20. Otley, Mayerek, Burns, Caraday, Holmichael, LeQuay, Corpus, Thornton, Weisfanger, Vernolst, Manintveld, and Amundere rounding off your field. Keep an eye on those back guys, because they are out of position and should be climbing their way up. Someone did mention this to me before this race started. It's going to get dark here, and this was not planned. I've been obsessed with sunset, it seems, when I set these sessions up. And it looks like it's going to get darker than we've seen before. So this will be interesting. A little night race. You can see their clear visors on the drivers. In fact, I can get a closer look if you want, but the lights are going to come on any second. There you go. That is what Jameson Huffman looks like right now. That's Henry Morse, your pole sitter. And there we go, the lights are off, and away they go. Van der Velde actually looked like he had a good start there, but Henry Morse gets away well. He doesn't look like he's going to be under pressure as he heads down towards turn 1. 14 laps of the feature race, and Henry Morse is, in fact, clear of turn 1 as we see a couple of the guys. That is an ORD car off. Is that Patrick off on the gravel already? He is. They're going to go free wide in towards turn 2. That's a risky move for Austin Farr. They're still free wide as they exit the corner, as we see people shuffling around down the bottom end. Sam Van Olst is up a few places already. He's up into P29. Burkhardt and King are swapping over. Burkhardt's on the inside of Stephen King. Once again, Stephen being on the wrong side of that fight, and he's going to lose out massively, I think, as Timu Toika and John Bailiff are going to come through as well. Is John Bailiff going to get through here? This is Stephen King's car. John Bailiff behind the two Pulsars. It is very, very dark out there, and there's no lights on this circuit. Iku or Kakula will be not happy with this. I don't think this is going to be good conditions for photos, but we'll have to make do. 13 laps left of this feature in the dark. It's going to be very dark. Headlights galore. At least we can still see them, right? John Bailiff, though, doing very well to keep his car clean. Stephen King behind Huffman, but he's let Burkhardt get away. Oh, look at that move from Stephen King down the inside of Jameson Huffman. That was late from Stephen. That was a tap of the rear, possibly a penalty from first look, to be honest. I mean, we will watch it again another time. But that was a very optimistic move. And look at this. Joshua Germany up into P3. Henriksen still holding on to P4. I want to have a look at that move again. Was it too late? Was it just a plain contact, what's it called? Advantage by contact penalty, as the cars behind are going 3 wide. That's Ridley and Van der Velde, not Van der Velde, that's Thurtle in the 70 Project Dynamic car, and Burkhardt is coming through as well. Remember, Thurtle trying to help Burkhardt win this championship. He's missed a couple of rounds, has Thurtle, so he's not really got anything to lose. He's just here to help his teammate, but Carl Ridley will very much put up a fight for Morgan Burkhardt and do anything he can to stop him. Look at Stephen King, he's still fighting. I guess Stephen realises Huffman's too far back to give that position back. As Germany and Van der Velde are side by side for P2. Is Germany making more moves? Is he going to get his second win? He's got Henry Morse to beat yet. Van der Velde on the outside of turn 5. They head down towards the hairpin. Henriksen behind. Downing is going to follow Joshua Germany through. Who can brake later? Down towards turn 5. Look at the rear brake disc of Joshua Germany glowing as they head down towards turn 5. He's going to be on the outside of the next corner. I think he might have to back out. Oh, he slots right in there between Van der Velde and Henriksen. Huffman and Toika are also fighting it out side by side in towards turn 7. Toika on the inside, the Finnish driver making moves as Martin Wallace is trying to look to gain advantage. Is he going to make it 3 wide towards the next hairpin? I think he might be trying. Huffman keeps that position, but Wallace firmly on the inside of Toika, and then it swaps around. Toika now on the inside of Wallace down towards turn 9. Now down towards turn 10 they go. That's a nice shot of them coming out the exit of that hairpin. Wallace has got the better run as they head down towards turn 10. Into the right-hander they go. Bounces over the curve as Timu Toika. That's going to give Wallace the advantage. Cuts him in tight. But look at this. Great racing from the Finnish and American driver. And Andy Fox now is going to look to take advantage down the main straight. Has he got the run on both of them? No, but he does have the run on Timu Toika. Andy Fox could be making a move for P15 here. Gets late on the brakes. Turns in. Gives plenty of room, gets on that throttle. You can still see Timu just about on the left-hand side. Round the outside of turn 2 for Andy Fox. Can't get it turned in. Takes a nice wide entry. That is a car stopped. That is a street casuals car. Eric Manenveld has pulled over on the circuit. What's happened? Is that a hardware issue? Looks like it's a lap down. That's unusual. Does he get going again? does get going again. Just pulls over. I think his race is done. That's unfortunate. Once again, Eric Manetveld's season, issues aplenty, but he's had some strong showings. He should be happy with how he's performed this season so far. This is what it looks like from the top of Joshua Germany's car. He's still right behind Alexander van der Velde. I get the sense that Josh will want to pass Alex as soon as he can so that he can try and hold on to Henry, to be honest. Because Henry Morse, currently leading this race, didn't have the pace earlier in practice, but now look at him. He's in a good position for his second win this season. Van Olst and Burns battling out back here. This is what... Oh, look at all these guys. Van Olst on the inside of Burns, and that's Karaday and Majorek, I think, as well for ORD. Side by side on the corner. Karaday leans on him on the exit. Majorek holds it. He's going to get the run. Stephen Burns looks like he's got a run on all of them. Who's going to cut? Look at Agard throwing his car to the inside, and there we go. There's the crash. Oh, that... Oh, my God. I don't even know how to explain that one. That was Karaday and Van Olst. I don't know how everyone... We need to watch that again instantly because I don't know how Sam Van Olst got avoided then. Someone lent on someone there, which is how that all started. Oh, no. I don't want to see this. There we go. Sebastian Holmichael, very lucky. Jesus Mundere, lucky. Anyone else? No. Insane. Sam really out of luck, huh, says Iku. You make your own luck in racing. As does Joshua Germany, as he looks to the inside of the hairpin. And look how feisty these two are getting. They're going to have to be careful here of the meatball. Alexander van der Velde getting very aggressive, and he was flagged up for leaning, aggressive leaning at twin ring Motegi. So if it continues, then it could be a penalty or, well, warning or another warning or a penalty, depending on how much it gets done. He's very much on the inside for turn 9, though. He's entitled to that room. Is he going to lean on Josh on the exit? He's going to try his best, but we've seen if you lean too aggressively, Karaday and Van Olst showed what can happen. Oh, that was very lucky. I think Joshua Germany was smart there to back out of that because we've seen crashes there happen. But look at the 1.6 second gap that Henry Morse has now. Alexander van der Velde, it's getting darker and darker. Look at all the headlights come around that final corner. Joshua Germany looks to the inside again. Ika Lequay comes in the pits. It is lap 5. They're just about on lap 5, so Ika will probably have a meatball. And the move gets done for Joshua Germany up into P2. 1.8 seconds now to Henry Morse. Can he close that gap? He's going to have to work... Well, he's going to have to work bloody hard to get that done. Jesus Mundere is up 8 places here in 24th place. He's defending from Sebastian Holmichael. It's getting more and more difficult to see which cars are which. Didn't expect it to be a night race. I don't think anyone else was expecting it to be a night race. It was just mentioned before this race started. So, wasn't planned, but here we are. No street lights at Okayama. Henry Morse comes over the hill. Germany comes over the hill. Van der Velde. Henriksen still holding on to P4. But he's got Austin Farr right behind him. The Street Casuals versus Pulsars fight is very much alive with Morse, Farr in the top 5. Germany, the only Pulsars car in the top 10. As there is contact behind. Who was it? They're still trying to sort themselves out. I feel like Austin Farr was involved in that. Patrick Dupart going to go around the outside of Farr into turn 7. They go. Cuts that corner nicely. Does Austin Farr. Doesn't get a slowdown, I don't think. Fox and Wallace, the old rivals from Summit Point. Is it Summit Point or was it Lime Rock? Might have been Lime Rock. But they're side by side once again. Is Wallace and Fox. In towards the hairpin they go. Thurtle and Farr side by side. There's a big... Oh, there's a Goldwing car sideways. That will be Duncan, I think. Yeah, Duncan Murray is in that area of the field because Dan Downing's at the top and Sam Van Olst is at the back. So Duncan Murray, the midfield driver, and people are coming in the pits. It is pit stop time. Are the leaders coming in? No. Keep an eye on those times at the bottom, by the way, guys. The orange number shows how long they were stopped for. 14 seconds for Karaday, for example, as these guys all come into the pits together. Can we see what happened to Austin Farr? Did anything get flagged up on the timing system? Because there was a lot of crunching. No, actually, it was all fairly safe. 1.8 seconds, still the gap from Morse to Germany. This is what it looks like behind. 8.2 seconds, the quickest stop there by Patrick Dupart. That's a very quick stop indeed. Look at the worker vest on the back of Henry Morse's car. A little high-vis vest. 1.8 seconds, still the gap. Everyone needs to stop fighting now to try and catch this guy, otherwise it's another easy win. Look at the time difference, 8.2 seconds for that one stop, and some people are stopping for 12 seconds. Can be made in that pit stop. Burkhardt did a Dumbo on far. I don't know what that means, and I can't see it on here unless I can see Burkhardt passed far, and I can try and find the replay of what happened. Morgan, Burkhardt, Austin far past Thurtle, Morgan, Burkhardt past Austin far. Oh, no. It's going to be, well, he's not going to give it back, look, because he's driven off, so it's going to be another pen, which will be interesting. But can he, I imagine he's going to continue in the hope that he can extend his penalty away from him. It looked like he was just trying to get the move done on Dan Downing, to be honest. And then he ended up hitting the other car as well. We've got some more drivers in the pits. Stephen King is in the pits. Your lead pit stop driver so far. We can show you the pit stops by clicking that one and this one. That will show you who has stopped and the pit stop times themselves. King is going to come out. He's not coming out in the lead of the race. He's coming out in P. He's going to come out side by side with John Bailiff in towards turn 1. John Bailiff around the outside. Oh, it's going to be tight on exit. Look at the stop time as well. 8.4 for King, 8.1 for Depart, 8.7 for Austin Farr, who's come out in the lead of this race right now in terms of pit stops. Stephen King and John Bailiff. We're on lap 7 already. If this was the sprint race, this would be the final lap. That is insane. Okayama is flying by. We're halfway through this feature race, and only half of the drivers have stopped. In fact, exactly half of them have stopped. 16 stoppers. Actually, 15, because Mannenfeld isn't showing up as stopped, but he is back there in 32nd place. But Austin Farr and Dupart are currently out of the pit stoppers, your lead two. Bailiff and King, I imagine, will work together to close that gap. And it looks like Burkhardt is now right behind Germany. These two fighting for the win last time out. Oh, is King having a look at John Bailiff there? He has done. That's in the hairpin. Stephen King making a move on John Bailiff there in towards turn 5. And he's now up into a net P3, depending on how everyone else's stops go. Henriksen in the pit lane. Andy Fox in the pit lane. Blake and Burns in the pit lane. 4 drivers are in. I didn't think these two were going to fight, to be honest. But away they go. This is what it looks like from John's car. Let's go on board of Stevens, because we should see where these 4 are going to come out. They're all in the pit stops right now. Keep an eye on those orange numbers. What are their stop times going to be? 9.1, 9.4, 9.9. Are we going to see them on pit exit? You can see a couple cars on the right-hand side there. Stephen King is going to pass all of them apart from... Is that Donny Alpha Henriksen? All the way up the road with his 9.1 second stop is now currently leading the pit stoppers. It is Donny Alpha Henriksen for Masters of Torque, the number 88 car, the Danish driver. We haven't seen at this end for a little while. He won't mind me saying that, because he definitely... Well, he's a race winner, is Donny Alpha Henriksen. A Season 1 race winner. Which team was he racing for back then? It was Meatball Motorsport, the current P12 team. Meatball Motorsport used to have Donny Alpha Henriksen and Kieran Dempsey, I think, in the RLTC. 2 very strong drivers. But right now, Henriksen leading the pit stoppers. And then, well, we've got 11 drivers who still haven't stopped yet at the top. 1.9 seconds the gap now between Burkhardt and Morse. Joshua Germany has dropped down to P4. Why? How? These two are having a little bit of a fight. Is this where it happened? Oh, that will be where it happened. A very violent turn across the Pulsar's car there. Slots in behind, and that'll be where he lost those positions. Hopefully not a meatball, but he hasn't stopped yet. Far is pushing, Morse is gaining more and more. Sad for Manenveld, yes indeed. But here we go, some more pit stoppers coming in. Let's go on top of Donny Alfa Henriksen's car to see who is going to come out. Henry Morse has pit. He was your leader. I think he's going to come out well in the lead. It's an 8.7 second stop. So it's a quick stop for Henry Morse, who is actually all the way down into turn 1. And Donny Alfa Henriksen is going to go up into P2 right now. He's past Thurtle. He's past Far. But where is Burkhardt and Van der Velde going to come out? The other drivers still going on that fuel tank. And you can see them all the way up the road. The gap fairly hefty. But Henry Morse just up the road there. Very, very interesting. And behind, it's looking feisty between Far, Thurtle, Depart and Ridley as they go 2 by 2 in towards turn 4. Look at the glowing brake discs at night. Really easy to spot them when it's pitch black outside. Love to hear those tyres screeching. Yes, very screechy tyres and the diesel engine roar. 4 pit stops to go before I turn off those timers and we can see a little bit more of the screen as Thurtle defends down towards turn 5. And Ridley is going to have a look at going around the outside. He's going to juice it around there. Frog Leap Juice racing up the inside of turn 6. Not quite. Has to back out. Keeps it safe on Arthur Thurtle there, does Kyle Ridley. Austin Farr behind, and that is Dan Downing making a move, I think, on Patrick Dupart. It is Dan Downing for Goldwing on ORD. Stephen King is that behind, and Bailiff in P12 and 13. Those two really needed to capitalise today. And to be honest, looking at this result right now and how it's going, I don't think they have. I mean, King got a P2 in the sprint race, but not. I just don't think it's the way. I don't think they are making it. Henry Morse is going to come out miles in the lead. Look at this. The others have just stopped. This is the rear of Henry Morse's car, and there they are. Morgan Burkhardt is in P2, Germany P3, and Donny Alfa Henriksen is in fact still in P4. But they're a little bit more spread out at the top. We can get rid of those timers now, so we can just focus on those interval times. And it looks like the closest fight is actually Van der Velde on Thurtle, Ridley and Farr. So this is for P5, 6, 7 and 8 as we see Farr go down the inside of Ridley down towards turn 4. He's got 2 Project Dynamic cars in front of him. Project Dynamic having a strong showing. This is the Project Dynamic we expected to see after the media day and the pre-race season. They looked very dominant early on, and Alexander Van der Velde has been having a hell of a race so far, has the Dutch driver, as Henriksen is actually closing in on Joshua Germany up the road as well. Number 88 for Masters of Torque is closing down for a potential podium. We haven't seen him on the podium this season, so he'll be pushing hard for that. Can Donny Alfa Henriksen get himself a podium? I said, in fact, what lap are we on? Lap 10? I'll tell you what, have I copied and pasted? No, that's not it, that's the live timing. Let me get the driver of the day vote in there for the last 4 laps, because I'm now starting to see who I would vote for. It's completely up to you guys, you 53 people watching across all 4 channels. There is your vote driver of the day. Link across all 4 channels, the 2 YouTube channels and the 2 Twitch channels. Click on that link, vote for your driver. You've got 4 laps to do so, so don't rush. But just remember that it's there. Donny Alfa Henriksen, 3 attempts behind. Hasn't had a podium so far this season. Race winner last time in season 1 over a year ago. He's been having an absolute nightmare, and he's closing. As Stephen King is in the pits again. That is unfortunate. He's now down in 22nd place. Is he out of this race? He's still in the pit lane. Is that a meatball? He's down in 24th. I think his race is over. Oh, he's coming out in 27th. That is very, very bad news for that man. Let's have a look. It says he passed John Bailiff for P11. Oh, it was down into the pit entry. That's why. I haven't seen much else happen to Stephen King, to be honest. And I'm not going to try and find it by flicking through replays. So let's get back to this. Donny Alfa Henriksen goes towards the inside of the hairpin at turn 5. Brakes as late as he dares. It's a move for P3. Donny Alfa Henriksen on the exit of the hairpin goes to cut across Joshua Germany, who leans on the rear of the Masters of Torque car. Donny Alfa Henriksen round the outside. Can he accelerate out round the outside of turn 7? He needs to try and keep his nose there, or is Josh going to be able to shut it off? I think Donny's still there. He is. And now he's going to lead on him down towards the hairpin. Van der Velde. No, that's Thurtle behind, trying to gain advantage as Donny tries to hold it round the outside of the Pulsar's car down towards turn 9. And then he has to back out of it because he's right behind Joshua Germany. It was a good effort and the battle continues, but now Thurtle is trying to gain a position. So Donny is in the tricky situation of having to attack and defend at the same time, and Joshua Germany will be trying, hoping that Donny comes under pressure from the Project Dynamic car. Morgan Burkhardt very clear, 1 second the gap with 3 laps to go. And look at Morse breaking the slipstream. Burkhardt trying to close him down for a potential double win. Which I'm afraid to say, if he gets that double win, it's looking good for Burkhardt to take the championship. Well, his first Jetta championship, so I'm not afraid to say it. But he won the RLTC last season that we ran. And now, with Jake's absence, he might be looking to take one of his strongest rounds this season, although potential penalties may be incurred. With some of the moves been made today, we've seen some clumsy crashes down the field. But at the moment, this is the fight for the highest position, although Burkhardt is now within 7/10 of Henry Morse on lap 12 of 14. Henry Morse still weaving down the straight to try and break that slipstream. No trouble just yet because he's not close enough to make a move as Joshua Germany defends towards the inside, as does Van der Velde from Austin Fart. Donny Henriksen opens up the corner nicely. Glowing brake discs, lap 12 of 14. Joshua Germany trying to hold on to that podium position. I'll tell you what, props to Joshua Germany, who seems to be the lead Pulsar's driver of the last 2 rounds. He might be having his strongest final leg that we've seen as King is fighting Jan Weiswanger. Speaking of Pulsars, he's fighting Jan Weiswanger down here in 25th place. What's going to type through there? Is he going to get the move done on the Meatball Motorsport car? Ika Lequay up the road. We haven't seen much of the Lurchus Gaming boys, but Lequay looks like he's making a move on Sebastian Holmichael as Agard chucks it to the inside to defend from Sebastian Holmichael. Feisty racing from the boys down here. Meatball Motorsport, Lurchus Gaming. Speaking of Lurchus Gaming, Jesus Amundere is up the road. He's in P20. You've got Stephen Burns for Win It or Bin It. Jesus Amundere is up 12 places. Have that for a gain of positions. Martin Wallace and Brandon Hughes in the same area of the circuit, 17th and 18th. A good strong points haul for ZFG as we go on to lap 13 of 14. And Burkhardt is in fact closing. Timu Toika leads this train in P13. Greg Otley, the highest ZFG driver right now. Austin Farr and Van der Velde side by side into turn 2. Van der Velde will have the inside of the next corner, so you would assume that he is going to keep that position as King now moves past Ika Lequay. I wonder if he put a fresh set of boots on, or is he just having fun down there racing around. Dan Downing, look at this, side by side in towards turn 4. Carl Ridley gets a bit of a knock. Alexander Van der Velde, Farr, Downing, John Bailiff and Patrick Dupart all together on the circuit. There's the other 3, Joshua Germany, Donny Alpha Henriksen and Arthur Thurtle just up the road as Donny's forced to go around the outside yet again. Joshua Germany trying to moving on over, getting feisty. Henry Morse and Morgan Burkhardt are side by side as well in towards turn. Oh, there's the contact, a bit of a slide from Henry who goes wide but keeps it pinned. Is he going to turn it into turn 7 and get the run out? He does indeed. Very dark looking car. Now look how dark it is out there. Henry Morse trying his best, but Burkhardt has to be careful with all of the advantages by contact he's gained. It's 3 wide at the back here. Morgan, I don't know where to look. Henry Morse is holding on to the lead here from Morgan Burkhardt behind. Can we see the other drivers come out of that hairpin? Joshua Germany still holding on to P3 and Henry Morse still holding on to that lead as we approach the final lap. The final lap is on, and look how close it is between these two. Lap 14 of 14. We're on the main straight now. There's a fight for the lead. There's a fight for P3. This is what it looks like at the top. Henry Morse defends towards the inside of turn 1. Morgan Burkhardt's going to try and look around the outside. Henry Morse holds it tight. Can he get the run on the exit? I don't think he can, but he's going to have the outside for turn 2 and try. Oh, look at that. Morgan moves over on him. Does sweep round, keeps that throttle pinned. How's it looking behind? Joshua Germany still very clearly in P3. Henry Morse on the inside of turn 4. Dangerous place for Henry Morse right now because the next straight is the longest on this circuit as Thurtle is looking. Look at this. Henry Morse brakes as late as he dares. Look at those rear brake discs glowing. I can't get over it. Thurtle looks very close to Henriksen. Downing and Ridley are swapping over. Agard, Van Olsen, Lequay are swapping over. This is a drag race down towards the hairpin. Can Donny Alpha Henriksen hold on to his season best P4? He's got Thurtle on his inside. Henry Morse is on the inside of the hairpin for turn 5. Joshua Germany looks safe in P3. Can Burkhardt hold it around the outside of the hairpin? Henry Morse, they make contact. Burkhardt gets forced out wide. Henry Morse keeps the lead so far. In towards turn 6 they go. Down towards turn 7. Morgan Burkhardt behind. It's looking like a done deal now unless he can do a late send into the next corner. Thurtle does get past Donny Alpha Henriksen, or does he? He's on the inside for turn 7. Henriksen trying to hold on. He's going to try and get the run out of this hairpin. Is he going to do the same as Henry Morse as we just saw in turn 5? They lean on each other down the straight. Down towards turn 8 they go. Henriksen on the inside of turn 8, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 9 unless he can shut that door on the exit. I don't think he can because Thurtle's still there. And round the outside, can he get the best run down towards turn 10? I don't know where everyone is. Down around the final corner. Is that Morgan Burkhardt going in the pit lane? Did I just see? No way is he going in the pit lane. That will be a drive-through. He might as well have just crossed the line for the time penalty because now he's going to get a double dose of penalty if it is a drive-through. Look at the car there. Is that Donny Alpha Henriksen drifting around the final turn? I think it was, but Henry Morse takes the feature race win with Joshua Germany P2. Alpha Thurtle gets a surprise podium. Henriksen does finish P4 in the end. So Henriksen, if he just held on, would have got his debut podium this season. Ridley P5. Downing P6, Van der Velde for Project Dynamic in P7 will be over the moon. Depart Far, Bailiff P10, Toyka in P11, Huffman in P12. Majorek, Otley, Fox, Wallace. Look at them all, man. Oh my god. I know he lost the position. I don't know who I'd vote for, actually. Don't know who I'd vote for. Driver of the day. But what's happened to Morgan Burkhardt? That will affect his result massively if it was a meatball or a drive-through. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dan Downing in Twin Ring Motegi, who got a penalty on the second to last lap, decided to serve it on the last lap, and not only you cross the line before you get to the exit of the pit, so if it's a drive-through, you end up finishing the race before you've served a drive-through, which means you get a time penalty added on to the pit lane time that you've already done. Dan Downing found that out last week. Looks like Morgan Burkhardt might have done the same, unless it was a meatball, which I think if you don't serve within 3 laps, it's disqualification, in which case Burkhardt did everything he could. But if it was a drive-through, he might as well have crossed the line and he would have just got 40 seconds added instead of a double dose. That is how that works. Henry Morse comes into the pits after a second race win this season in as many rounds. He won at Twin Ring Motegi. He's won at Okayama. He is a Japanese driving god. He's not Japanese, he's American, but you know what I mean. Both circuits that he's won at are in Japan. So dark. So dark. And there we go. It's the opposite of what happened last week. Burkhardt won the sprint race. Morse wins the feature. Last week, it was the other way round. We've got 1 round left. All drivers did well, says Biggie Morello. I don't know who to vote for. I do not know. I know who I'd vote for, but it's an informed opinion across all the seasons. I don't want to influence your decision. I'll tell you anyway. It's why I'm here. I'm the commentator. I won't tell you who to vote for. You can vote for who you want. My vote would go to Donny Alpha Henriksen. P4, nearly P3 after the season he's had. Was a top job, to be honest. And well, in fact, let's see if we can have a replay of that final turn when he came drifting out. This is when he made a move on Josh. The fight just continued. Arthur was just sitting, waiting for the opportunity. I don't think this was the final lap. This was the final lap, because look how close they are. lent on each other down the straight. Look, that actually might have cost Donny more time. Perhaps in an air of podium desperation. And look how tight they got through this hairpin. And then this is where we cut away to watch the lead fight. So into this corner they go. Bounces over the curve, does Arthur. They were still very much side by side. Donny tries to hold him tight. Oh, just gets nudged out. And that's where we saw him drift on the gravel. Whew. Oh my god. Just seen this on my timing screen. I'm going to watch it just so I can see. Look, there were fights all the way through the field. They were all pretty much through the same corners. So we see Holmichael and LeQuay going at it. Oh, LeQuay right out on the grass. Vanolse coming through as well. We'll have to ask the drivers. We're going to do interviews in a second. We'll have to ask them about this this night race and how they found it. Yeah, it was interesting actually. I think if we did do a night race again, that was actually on purpose. Maybe we'd pick one with a little bit of track lighting, as it got fairly dark towards the end. There might be a few dark pictures for this one. If you oh, by the way, if you haven't seen the pictures, wait, is it on this? No, it's not on this. If you haven't seen the pictures, that website at the bottom, theracingline.org, you can catch up on all of your Volkswagen Jetta Cup news. And if we did the Touring Car Championship again for Season 2, the Racing Line Touring Car Championship, loads of pictures provided by VCO eSports Kakula. And they are absolutely gorgeous. The last 2 seasons' photos have been stunning. It really is worth having a look at the gallery. You can also see all previous results and statistics of the drivers if you want to pick a favourite to support for the final round. So, yeah, worth it. Let's have a look at... I need to catch up a little bit on chat. Whilst I catch up on chat, I will put the results up for you. Wait, let's get rid of that and then put the results up. And then let's see if we can catch up on what is going on here. I missed so much of this because there was just constant fighting. Just talking iRacing costs. When's the next season start? We don't know that information yet. Start time for that next race next week. The next race will be Oran Park, same time. So be here. If it's, I don't know what time zone you're in, but UK time, the stream starts at 8:15. VCO eSports, I believe, are based in Germany, so I guess the time is 9:15 it starts. For me, it is 12:15 at night. So it's one of those. If you really want to try, you can buy a month subscription by Ice Race. Oh, this was when you were talking about iRacing, racing on Beam MG. When? What did I do to the weather, says Iku? I don't know. Night racing, let's go. Night race, let's keep it clean. Is Daytona on the calendar? I hate Rovals, man. We haven't been back. Do you know what, though? We did have a Roval in our first season, so it might be time to throw it back to that. That's, if we did Season 4, it might be worth having a Roval on there. Morse for the win. Casuals doing street parking. Can't park there, mate. Sam's really out of luck. F in chat. Really good commentating, thank you. If they continue fighting, they will lose time to Morse. Epic night racing. Morse is in a different race. He was really strong. Burkhard, Giga Chad in first place. He keeps gaining. What a Sigma male. Lights are looking cool. Far is pushing. Morse is gaining more and more. Sad for Manenfeld. Love to hear these tyres. We saw this. Take one of the worst graphical tracks with worst car model on Sim from 2008 in night, and even Photoshop can't save you. Told you Kakula wouldn't be happy with this one. You'll have to just use the sprint race. It's the feature race is dark. I didn't do it on purpose, I swear, it's just the way it happened. Morse hopefully has enough fuel. Yes, he did. Please let Morse pass the finish line in first place. Your prayers were answered. He's dominant. RIP King. Not sure what happened to him. It looked like a second pit stop ruined his race. far. Please push. Donny Henriksen, go more. Yes, come on. All drivers did well. Don't know who to vote for. Shaking on edge. Let's go. This was way more fun than my results might suggest, says Andre Marek on YouTube chat. Can't feel anything but happiness. Such respectful racing in today. Good result. I for sure will join this league. Vanol says dead again. Gained 11 spots though. Turn the music down a little. Bit loud. Do I find this cup on iRacing website? You should find this cup on iRacing website. I don't know when they're going to come and find us, to be honest. Come on, iRacing, if you're out there. You should be watching these. We've got one race left of the season. Come and join us. Everyone who found us on Reddit, go and spam iRacing. They need to watch Oran Park because Oran always throws up a good race, especially with the amount of drivers that die on turn 2 by themselves. Before join production car SimLab series in iRacing. Yes, I agree with Ostat Bender 7. Try the SimLab race on the iRacing service, the official races. Normally, to be honest, we send a mass mail out to anyone that drives the Jetta in the SimLab season. That was how some people found us. Or you can just join the Discord and you can keep up to date in there and chat with a few people. Anyway, let's get to it. Interviews, driver of the day votes, and results. Morse, Germany, Thurtle, Henriksen, Ridley, Downing, Depart, Farr, Toyka, Mayerek, Otley, Fox, Wallace, Burns, Hughes, Amundere, King, and Hallmark with your top 18. King got back up to P17. Nice. He won't be happy, but good job. ZFG, excuse me, ZFG should be happy. Look at that. P11, P13, and 15. That's a lot of points for Zero Forks given. Considering Frog Leap Juiced Racing scored heaps in the sprint race. Kyle Ridley did get a P5 though. Where was Jameson Huffman in this race? I didn't see him that much, to be honest. Am I just being blind? There he is in 28th place. So he was out there. Sam Van Alst, Lequay, Agard, Thornton in 22nd, Weiswanger, Corpus, Murray, Van der Velde, Bailiff, Huffman, Burkhard, P29 in the end. Dan, Blake, Carraday, and Manenfeld. Do you know what they're going to be thinking? So Burkhard, if I'm not mistaken, should be... he should be in the lead of the championship now because Jake Cranston's not here. But I've got a feeling with the P29 result, he's not going to be that far ahead, which means Jake Cranston could win his 3rd title in a row still, because he will be back for Oran Park the final round. He'll be happy with that. John Bailiff down there in P27, he didn't capitalise. Stephen King, actually, after a second stop and a disappointing result, ended up being the top scorer out of those top 3 drivers. So that is a weird one, and sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. So it'll be interesting to see what the points look like after this and after penalties. These netcode 4Xs, man, says Alexander van der Velde. Yeah, they're bad. Frederick says, what do you mean? SimLab is an official race, Frederick, and it runs the Jetta, but it does also race MX-5s, Mustangs, and Pontiacs, and it's well worth a go. Holy Snikes, what a race. Good race. I'm going to be back next week. Good to hear. Let's chat to some of the drivers, and we'll get going, because it is nearly 2 o'clock. Who have we got around? Let me check this drive of the day vote first. Results. Can't argue with that, to be honest. Let's talk to that man. We'll bring him in first. Can I find him? Yes, I can. Here he is. He's currently called Round 8 Race Winner in the Discord, which is going to be soon changed to Round 8 and 9 Winner. Henry, did you expect that coming into this round?
Certainly not. I know my practice lap made it look like things were pretty bad, but I was not worried because it was a fuel run, and obviously my pit went pretty freaking well. So I think that was worth it. Could have qualified a little better. Didn't quite get the lap. Ended up with some traffic on my 3rd one, which was going to be the big one. But yeah, not expecting it. I was running pretty well in the heat. ninth, and then I decided to make a move, which I definitely shouldn't have because it put me in a bit of a situation. But yeah, there was room for one car to make it happen in the heat. So yeah, that was tough. I was not. I was shocked at the pace from Morgan as well. Has to be said.
He did look quick, the way he was catching you up. We thought that early on in that feature, it looked like Josh was he was having to fight harder than he wanted, I think, against Alex van der Velde, who just wasn't giving up that position. Well, he'd had the pace today, did Alex, actually, compared to previous races, but not in comparison to yourself. So it was actually holding up Josh, I think, more than he wanted. But then once Josh got past, the gap stayed at 1.8 seconds. There was no closing in, no slipstream help. And then when we saw Morgan, who was more than a second behind, I think, after the pit stops, the gap just tumbled down. And did you feel the pressure when he started closing in? I mean, you had a great race at the end, which was very much caught on the live stream.
Yeah, I was definitely aware of that number getting smaller, but I was also pretty aware of my intentions and also pretty aware of who has more to lose. But I guess that didn't really factor in for him. So
well, that's what I said.
Whatever.
Actually, I did say that. I said out of these two drivers, one of them has more to lose than the other. The race continued. I don't know if it was a meatball or an X limit.
It was a limit.
It was a
limit.
Got
a 26X. Yeah.
So then. So the same as Dan Downing last time out, he should have actually just crossed the line. He ended up giving him a double dose by serving a drive-through on the last lap. Because if you cross the line, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong here, I'm fairly certain, maybe we should test this, even though there's only one round left. Fairly certain if you get a drive-through on the last lap, like within your 3-lap range, if you just cross the line, you don't get DQ'd, you just get a time penalty instead. That's how I think it works. So him coming into the pits, he's already slowed down and lost time, and then he crosses the finish line before the pit exit, so it doesn't register the drive-through, and he gets a time penalty anyway. So I feel like he's and Dan Downing did it last week, but it is what it is. That's not your problem. You've won 2 races this season now after winning none. That's a bonus, right? Thanks. I'm guessing you're going to thank Calypso for that extra funding.
Oh yeah, they've really helped us get a lot more testing time in. While Austin and I were out of town for the last 7 days. And then, got to thank my friends and family who've tuned in. Got to thank Josh, who definitely put up his greatest against Morgan. Couldn't have held on to that for too much longer. And of course, got to thank JJ up in the booth, making this happen.
That's me.
You're the man. Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah. So I don't know what the situation is in terms of teams, but Street Casuals definitely scored a lot of points again today. Joshua Germany carrying the pulses. It's looking close, and it's been up and down on thinking whether Street Casuals would catch or not, but now it's looking more and more likely. With 1 round to go, you reckon you could still take this team's championship?
I think it's definitely. It'll require some luck. I'd say we probably have maybe the odds are probably 20 or 25%. That's just my hunch. We'll see what happens. Eric had a tough round. He got a meatball in the first one and VR disconnect in the second one.
Oh,
so that hurts.
Ah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a VR headset user. It was similar to Andy Fox back in Oran all that time ago, but I wasn't too sure.
Yeah. So that hurts, but Austin and I both had great runs, so that'll help a bunch. And then Timu and Stevie were not too far towards the front, if I recall correctly. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck at Oran Park in Australia next week. It was good to speep to you, and congratulations once again. Oh, and your driver of the day. You were voted driver of the day today for all the action.
Thank you, Jack, and good luck in Dubai as well.
Well, I've been here for months, but thank you for that. Speak to you soon. There he goes. He's gone. Henry Morse, your race winner, as Christoph Plays says, Giga Chad Sigma Male Street Casuals driver, who started this season off pretty far down, and has just been on an amazing rise since. who to speak to next is the next question. I can see 2 drivers in the waiting room. Let's do the usual and have a quick look at these to remind me. Burkhard King and Thurtle. Morse, Germany, and Thurtle. So one of those drivers is Thurtle. So we'll bring Arthur in from Project Dynamic, who had a double podium finish in the end on here at Okayama. You happy with that?
Very happy.
You're up 7 places, it says in that feature, so it was a decent race.
Yeah, it was a good race. Morgan went past me fairly early on, and I was just trying to follow him through. But no, I had good pace tonight.
Is that just a track thing, or? Just...
I don't know. I think I've had good pace in a lot of the tracks, but the races haven't really gone my way because I've been giving Morgan a tow in quali every race. There's been times when I've been behind everyone else that had tow, and then I've ended up in incidents and not finished very well.
You've had a very up and down season, and it's funny actually. Yeah. We was all talking the other day in practice. How obviously this is your first season with us in the Jetta Cup, and some of the mistakes that have been made early on in the season have all been done by all the other drivers, but in season 1 or in their first seasons, and no matter how much people can warn you about them, you will always do them yourself at least once, and then you won't make the same mistake again. Have you had many pit stop issues this season? That's always a big one in first season.
Yeah. I think tonight was the first time that I've had no pit stop issues. It just went smooth, and that was it. All the others, there was Brands Hatch where I underfueled, and then I think last week I double clicked the button to stop fueling, so it stopped fueling and then restarted fueling. Otherwise, I would have been up on near the podium, I think, for last week as well in the second race. It's just the pit stops have always keep being a disaster.
Well, it will look good on the stats after today. A double podium is always good to get two in one. So a strong result in the end. Is there anyone, before I let you go, Arthur, that you want to say hello or thank you to?
I better thank Morgan and Alex, my teammates, because they did a fantastic job today. Morgan actually gave me a tow on the 3rd lap in qualifying, which helped me get up towards the front. And Alex in the race, looked like he was defending extremely well behind me, defending for his life, which meant I could just focus on catching Donny and Joshua in front of me. So I'd like to thank them.
Good stuff. Oran Park next. Is that a circuit that you enjoy?
I think I've only raced it once in the Jetta in the Sim Lab. That was ages ago. I can't remember it. I know it's a twisty circuit. So
I better
we'll see how it goes.
The time of day before we get there, because if it's another night race, it will catch me right off guard. Didn't expect.
I quite liked it.
Was it nice? Was it?
Yeah, it was. It made a change. Hopefully next season we'll have a bit of rain as well.
Oh yeah, that'll be chaos, won't it? We'll see what happens.
Everyone will be disqualified for the incident points.
Yeah, maybe. It was good to speak to you, Arthur, and hopefully we'll see you up here again soon. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
There he goes. Now, I'm going to pull this guy in, but I've got a feeling that he's not going to say anything, because at the moment it's showing as muted and deafened. But I kind of want to speak to... Oh, he's undeafened himself. He might unmute himself shortly. But Donny Alpha Henriksen, I have dragged into the interview room because he's had a hell of a round today. And I think it deserves some recognition for the number 88 Masters of Talk car. How are you feeling, Donny? Did you have a good time out there today?
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of performance I should be putting in every race. So it's nice that it finally came together, I guess.
Oh, come on, you can sound more excited than that. People are celebrating your P4. Although, actually, you had a little race with Arthur at the end there, and it was very, very close to being your debut podium this season. Did you feel like you could have held on to that or done anything differently on that last lap?
Not really. I did what I could. I just don't have the skill to keep Arthur behind me in a situation like that. It's just not happening, so...
You made a few moves on...
P4s, I'll take that.
Yeah, but you made a few moves on Josh, and it was just one of those... You were very firmly in that awkward position of having to... having the pace to attack, but also having to defend at the same time. which is it's always a very difficult thing to do. And you had a couple of goes at Josh, but obviously everyone knows every attempt that you make, if it doesn't come off, it makes you vulnerable to the person behind. So, I mean, I think you held on to that position for a very long time. Did you feel like once Josh started defending the inside of that hairpin, was that just going to be too difficult, or do you reckon the opportunity still would have came up if the race was a little bit longer, for example?
Maybe if it was longer, but when you're in a situation like that, you actually need the guy in front of you to defend. Because if I need to attack, I'm putting myself out there, and I'm gonna get overtaken eventually. But if the guy in front of me keeps defending, that means I can get a better line. So maybe if it had continued, maybe it would have ended differently. But when you're in a situation like that, if you're the guy in the middle, you're usually the one who loses out. You have to be really, really good to win in that kind of situation, and I just could not do that today. So
couldn't capitalise, but it's a strong result nonetheless, and I'm sure you would have gained some places with a P4 like that, because it's a hefty jump up from the midfield points. But it's Oran Park next, a circuit where, looking back in previous for yourself, we had a jump start followed by an instant crash out. I'm guessing that's not the plan this time around.
That's not the plan, but I mean, you never know. I might jump the start again.
Fingers crossed that you get a better result. As usual, Donny, before I let you go, is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to?
Yeah, shout out to Northside Racing. If any of them have dropped by today. Yeah, that's the team I race endurance races with. So.
No worries. Thank you very much, Donny. We'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, just.
And there he goes, Donny Alpha Henriksen up on the podium again. Just looking at some of the pictures that Iku has posted. Yeah, they are. They're very dark. It was definitely a nighttime race. There's a lovely picture of Henry Morse. Basically just see his headlights. You can see them on the website. I'm sure they'll be uploaded either tonight or definitely within a day. They get uploaded pretty quickly to the website, theracingline.org. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, whether you're watching on the VCO eSports YouTube or Twitch, or the Racing Line YouTube or Twitch. We will see you next week for the same time at Oran Park. It is our final race. Final race of the season already. Season 3 coming to a close. One race left over in Australia. Oran Park. As usual, that is pretty much it from me. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.